Hello, welcome back. In this practical session, we are going to implement this design which we saw in the previous lecture. So to create this page, go and download this file and unzip it. PHP scripts for multi-client UI. Inside it, you will find two scripts, index.php and openclient.php. Index.php will give you this user interface, and when you click on this link here, any of this link here, it will connect and call openclient.php, and openclient.php will generate the client ret administration page. So this is how it works. So go and download this file, unzip it, and put both of these PHP scripts inside your htdocs folder over here. So you have your index.php and your openclient.php. Next, start your Apache web server as well as your MySQL database server. So make sure both are running, and then open your Google Chrome and navigate to localhost and hit enter. And you can see this is the history of the client connections. I have these 4 client IPs connecting to me in the past. So every time a client connects to my server, there will be a new record being created here. Later on, I will show you how to delete these old records. But for now, let's just focus on getting this UI interface to work. So now, if you look up at the URL here, there is no script at the back. So if you do not put a file or a script name at the back, the default will be either index.php or index.html. So since in our htdocs there are no index.html files, there is only the index.php, so it will be loaded by default like this. Now we will run our Redbot client and see what happens. So go to your C drive and open your Red Projects tree folder, and then open the Redbot project solution and open the Redbot folder and click on bin release. Double click to run the Redbot. If you come back here and refresh the page, you should see a new record being created. There you go, new record. You can also confirm this by manually opening the phpMyAdmin here, clicking on the control server database, and clicking on the clients table, and manually inspecting it. So this is exactly the same records that you are seeing over here. Now if you wanted to administer it, click on the administer link for that particular client. In my case, you will see there is only one name and one IP throughout. That is because I only have one client. In a real environment where you have multiple clients, all their names and IP addresses will be different. And if you wanted to administer any one of them, just click on the link in the 5th column. So now I will click on this and see what happens. And you will see it opens up the administration page for that particular client, and on top you will see the name for that particular client. You can now enter your command here. So let's say I select dir command and hit execute. You will see that there is a notification message saying received dir, and on my client side I can see also that the result of the execution is shown in the command prompt window. If I now come back and click get result string, I should be able to fetch the result of the execution and display it in the text area below. I can now execute a different command. Who am I? Click execute and click get return string, and I'll see the result of the new command. I can go back to my main by clicking on this and select a different client to administer. So let me now explain to you how the code works. When you first load this page, localhost, by default it will fetch the index.php. So let's take a look at the index.php file. The top part here is the HTML text, the HTML code, which will display what you see in the web browser. The top part is your icon, server icon, and then there is the h2 text, which is header number 2, which is this one, displaying this page, this text, and then there will be the PHP script. This PHP script's purpose is to fetch the data from the database, from the table called control server. So the PHP script starts here and ends here. Inside it, you will open a connection to your SQL database with these credentials, and then if there's an error, it will exit. If there is no error, it will then echo a string connected to command and control server back to the browser, and it will be shown over here. And then you will prepare the query to select all the columns ID and name and IP from the client's table. So it will go and fetch only the ID, name and IP columns. So if you look at this PHP myadmin, go back to the client's table. It is fetching the columns ID, name and IP. We are not interested in the command and return string column. We are only interested in these first 3 columns. That is the reason why in our SQL statement, we only select ID, name and IP column from the client's table. We then prepare the query, execute it, and bind the result to these 3 variables ID, name and IP. Now we are going to create the table. The table is created using the tables tag. The tables tag consists of the opening table tag and the closing table tag. And the first row of the table is called the table header. Every row starts with the table row tag and ends with the table row tag. Inside the first table row, we have the header. The table header tag looks different from the other rows. This is the table header row, and it is bold. And you can see each row is called a table row, starting with the table row tag, tr tag, and ends with the tr tag. So this tr tag starts here and ends here, and inside it you will put the table header ID, opening and closing tag for the ID header, and then opening and closing header for the name. So you will see the name here. So these are all table headers. That's why you enclose them in the th tag. Then followed by the IP table header, which is here in bold, and then lastly the select th header over here. So these table headers are just for informational purposes. You can't click on them. Then we come to the while loop, which will then fetch the result of the query. So each time it loops, it will fetch one record. So it will loop until all the records are fetched. So for each loop, it will fetch one record. So the first record will be this one, and so it will then create this row. So you can see the start of the row and the end of the row. And inside here, you will then populate each of the table data, which is TD. So the first TD is TD containing the ID, which is this ID, number